Hello everyone, I'm Annie Gibbins and you're listening to Memoirs of Successful Women, the podcast where you get to hear candid conversations with fascinating women from around the globe who share aspects of their business and life journey, how they measure their success and what they have learnt along the way. Hello and welcome to Memoirs of Successful Women. Today I have the delight of introducing you to the founder of Zondra TV Network. Her name is Zondra Evans and she's the executive producer of a global multimedia platform which is currently televised on 7 different streaming platforms. Zondra is also the best-selling author of The Power of Investing in You and Impact, Life, Leadership, and Legacy. She's also a brand ambassador and she's on boards, and I'm super excited to be able to asking her to reveal parts of her life with us today. So welcome to the program, Zondra.
Thank you so much, Annie. It's so good to see you.
It is a pleasure to have you here. Let's start talking about your pet topic, which is the importance of a digital footprint. Why is that important to us today? And how have you helped people be able to do that to maximize their personal brand and business opportunities?
Oh, Annie, it's such a long story, but I'm going to try to keep it short. After being in corporate America for 40 years, I got golden handshake, and that golden handshake had me really focused on small business. And one of the things that I believed is that we are in a digital society and we as small business are always left behind. So the goal for me was to level the playing field for small business so that they could increase their digital footprint, because after all, there are over 5.5 billion Google searches a day. And if you don't have a digital footprint, nobody knows about you.
So true. So true, right? And if you're small, how do you compete with the big guys, right? Like, I know that is that overwhelming feeling of all of those SMEs, mumpreneurs, small entrepreneurs going, well, how do you actually make a present? How do you make an impact in this current society, right?
Yeah, because I mean, how will you? I mean, at the end of the day, most of the time, a small business entrepreneur has a very small marketing and advertisement budget. So what can you do? I mean, do you really think that you're going to get on a nationally syndicated television and have a commercial like the bigger guys? And the answer to that is no. Are you going to be picked up and be televised and interviewed on a nationally syndicated television station? The answer to that's probably no too. There's very few of us that get that opportunity. So that's why we created Zondra TV Network.
Fantastic. I love that. I love that purpose and passion. It says, you know what? I have now got the opportunity to be the one to create a network that can actually create this platform that those people can use, right? So, and I know you now, mentor and coach people to be able to really grow in that space and be able to have maximum visibility.
Yeah, that's a big deal for us. When we started, we were just focused on, one-to-one business. And we still do that very much today. We do a lot of one-to-one business where we feature you on TV, or we create that digital footprint for you, at least get you started with a digital footprint. But in 2019, I heard a little voice that said that I was to build a network and that I was also to build a TV media incubator. And that incubator teaches small business owners that have a message that they'd like to take globally, teach them how to become a TV producer and not only just produce their content, but monetize it as well.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing to be able to equip people to be able to do it themselves, is what you're saying. So most of us as small business owners go, well, I've got to have then money to be able to find a producer, find someone to be able to put all my, passionate elements together. And you're saying that you can actually teach people to do that themselves.
teach them to do it themselves alongside, like my lead producer. My lead producer has over 25 years experience in digital landscape. And so having people that are seasoned that really understand how to position you well in digital media, how to position you well on TV really makes the difference. But the difference with us is that we make it affordable for a small business.
Yeah. And that's the most important thing, isn't it? That yeah, that's right. It's a nice idea, but can I afford it is the next question. And if I also have that investment in myself, what is the return of investment for me? So it sounds like you're trying to play both those elements really well, that you are very affordable. And then you're also saying, hey, if you do this and you do my coaching, you can monetize that. And we're talking big money, right?
We're not talking little money. We're talking big money.
We only want big money.
Yeah, we're talking about money that'll make a significant difference in your business.
Yeah.
I mean, a big money to everybody. Everybody has a different definition of what that is. But I'm talking about significant revenue streams that could really change your trajectory as a small business to help offset some of those other costs of doing the other things that are involved with your business. And so it's just a great way to be able to diversify, because at this point, you have to have diversification. And one of those diversifying areas is streaming. It is digital. You have to be in a digital society. The pandemic showed us that if you're not digital, you'll get left behind.
Totally. And that's unfortunately the situation, that those who didn't pivot or adapt very quickly or weren't already digital have suffered greatly. Now, you were a real innovator in that space of, you knew streaming was going to be big, right? So you seem to sniff it out at a very early time. How were you aware that this is going to be the future?
I don't know. You know what I always say, Annie? I say I am a baby boomer with millennial tendencies. So I know enough technology to be dangerous, but I just believed. And by the way, 5 years ago when I was believing this and I would get on stages and speak, people would look at me like a deer in headlights, like she need to go get her a job, because nobody is going to be watching TV on this cell phone. Yeah. And I kept saying, yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. That's the way people are going to ingest information. And so here we are, 4.5 years later, and people are like, knocking my door down because they realize that the way people are watching TV today is either through Roku, Amazon, Apple TV. That's how people are really ingesting information. And so it's your time to be able to really, get engaged and create that digital footprint.
Incredible. How do you then cope with the platforms changing so much? So now everyone is streaming. How do you then stay ahead of the pulse of going, well, what if they start changing to different types of platforms? Or how do we know what's going to be the next best thing, right? Like, the next TikTok, for example.
Well, it's not that easy. I mean, there is going to be a next TikTok. There's going to be a next something when it comes to platforms that are social. So let's take Clubhouse. Clubhouse is the hottest thing going right now. It's the hottest thing smoking. It's an audio type of platform, but it's not really digitized. So it's audio using your phone, but there's no video component. There's no way to really record that, transcribe it. It is what it is. In my opinion, there will always be new platforms like a Clubhouse. What I love about Clubhouse is it gives a heartbeat to your static post that you're doing on other social platforms. You do static posts, but it really doesn't have any tone. It doesn't have a heartbeat. Yeah. But Clubhouse allows you to bring that heartbeat in alignment with that digital post. So I think there'll always be new things. But when it comes to TV, I beg to differ. I think that Roku is the number one streaming device. In fact, they rung the bell at NASDAQ in January. I think they're leading in the industry. And I believe that while there may be another platform that will show up, I still believe that those three, Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV, are the kind of the premise of it. I mean, there are others today. There's Chromecast and there's other streaming devices, but they're not as powerful as those three.
Amazing. So for those average consumers who come to you, those business owners who go and say, Zondra, I want to have exposure. I want to take myself to the next level. I'm totally overwhelmed by the process. What is their biggest shift requirement? What do they need to do, believe in? What is their first step, if you like?
Okay, you got to believe in yourself. I wrote the book, The Power of Investing in You. The most valuable asset and resource is you. So you got to believe in you and the service or the product that you're offering. And if you really do believe that, that's the first step. And then the second step is, do I want to sell outside of my local neighborhood? Do I want to be national? Do I want to be global? Some people really don't. But if you really want to take your business to the next level and become nationally and globally, in your distribution, then you have to get on streaming TV. Because again, that's the way people are ingesting information. So why shouldn't you have a commercial advertisement on TV?
Exactly. Why not? Why not? Make it happen. Definitely you're going to be contacting Zondra after this. Get yourself on TV and get yourself maximum exposure. So let's backtrack a little bit on the Zondra journey then. So when you were a little girl, did you imagine that you would be an executive producer of a global network? Like, what has happened there on the whole journey, the belief that I can do this? Have you changed a lot? How have you grown? And what has influenced that?
That is so funny that you would ask me that. And I just talked about my book. So when I had my book release about 3.5 years ago, my cousin was there and one of the TV stations were there. And they asked my cousin, they said, has she always been like this? She's so full of energy and, and everything. And she said, well, yep, she's been speaking all her life. When we were little children, she was the pastor and we were the parishioners, and she was up there preaching to us when we were 5. So I think that I've always had a voice and wanted to be in the forefront of helping people to navigate their life. That is who I am. Now, TV was not in my preview. What was in my preview is to have a mic in my hand on someone's stage in front of thousands of people. But you know what? God saw fit to put a mic around my neck in front of millions. And I had to reconcile that. Like, which do I choose? Well, I choose the mic around my neck, not for popularity, not to be, famous, but I choose that because I believe that I have a big message that must reach the nation.
Beautiful. Wow, what a girl. And I can just picture you. And it reminds me of myself, actually. Never shy, even as a child. But isn't that an interesting learner for those listening in too, that we don't have the full picture, when women are empowered to go, I know I have these God-given gifts, this God-given passion, purpose, talents. This is just what makes me tick. This is what makes me smile. People are attracted to this X factor or whatever it is. Often, usually, we cannot imagine where it will take us. You can't imagine that big dream. In fact, that would have been like crazy, but it's the stepping stones and it's the leaning in towards your true self and what you have to give that these opportunities open up, right? And you would have had all of the naysayers, right? I'm sure, not just in, hey, we're all going to be streaming, but I bet along your journey, so many people I would imagine have gone and said, Zondra, you're not going to do that. Is that right?
Of course, you're going to have the naysayers, and that's why you got to know who you are and why you're here, right?
Yeah.
Of course you are. I mean, 20 years ago, when I was like, I'm going to be an inspirational, motivational speaker, and I'm going to speak all across, the nation, and I had people say, but are you really going to get paid, to do that? And I was like, I don't know, but I love it, right? And I really believe that when you lean in and into the things that you really love, that really speak to what I call your sweet spot, it happens, because it happened for me. I got to speak in Alaska, in Scottsdale, Los Angeles, and I was everywhere speaking because I leaned in and I said, I'm good at this. I want to do it. And at first I wasn't getting paid, but then after a while I was. And I was like, this is cool. I like getting a paycheck for 30 minutes on stage. So
yeah, exactly. And I think that sweet spot is what we're all trying to get, isn't it? And those people who are blessed that they can have their purpose and passion as their true vocation. Oh my gosh, like you've just made it, right? And not everybody can do that through a variety of reasons. But when you have that opportunity, I think that's the goal, isn't it? When you go, I can't, and I'm often like that with my life, go, I can't believe I actually get paid for this because I love it anyway. You love it that much that it's just a joy, so you were happy doing it, but yes, we all do need money. And the fact that you can then hone your skills in that time, learn a lot about yourself, watch others develop and grow and get that following. And by leaning in as you did and getting that exposure, why did you suddenly get paid? One, you're going to be very good at what you do. But two, you've then got a digital footprint, haven't you? Right?
Yep, exactly.
Everybody knows that Zondra's out speaking in Alaska and everywhere else, right? And then not only there, then as soon as you've gone international, you're now a global speaker, right? So profile builds with opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I call it, Annie? I call it your blue rose moment. Like, I believe that throughout your lifetime that you're presented with these blue rose moments. And a lot of people go, what do you mean by that? Well, blue rose is uncommon. It isn't mainstream. It's something that is kind of not customary, but it does exist, right? Yeah. It's whether or not you see the beauty in that and you're willing to actually access your blue rose moment. I mean, we could be traditional and just think of red, yellow, and white roses, but at the end of the day, there is a blue rose, and it is mystical. When you think about what a blue rose is. In fact, did you even know that blue roses can live without water for like a long time in the right temperature?
I did not know that, but I'm going to Google it now.
Go check out that blue rose. I'm just saying. I mean, so, I don't know. When it comes to TV, I think I just access my blue rose moment. And I know what it feels like to access that moment in your life that you really don't know what you're doing. Like, this is a faith walk for me. So I'm walking blindly in faith. I really don't know everything, but you know what? God was my best teacher. He taught me, he sent people in my path that helped me to really understand this model. And from there, I became creative and developed something that's pretty special right now.
Oh, it's pretty amazing. Well done, you. And to be able to be consistent, that's it. It's the diligence, it's the persistence, it's the saying, laughing at the naysayers. It's like, yeah, that's right. You watch me, turn it into a superpower, right? I love that. Yes. So what have been your biggest challenges then on your journey? It hasn't all been easy, I'm sure. Come on, let's be real.
Look, I'm gonna be real. You want me to get down like dirty? We could be here for hours talking about that. It's been very challenging. And so my first challenge is that my very first TV channel that I bought, the people promised to teach me, to mentor me, to help me to develop my channel. And guess what? They left me for dead. In fact, they're out of business today. Wow. So had I could have threw in my jacks. I could have went home and said, I'm good, right? And go do something else. I wouldn't let that stop me. I continued on and said, I'm going to go forth and I'm going to multiply. I'll build my own. If they're going to leave me hanging, I'll build my own. And so I was determined from that situation to build my own, but it could have cratered me, so that's one. The second thing is, in 19, I had most of my resources. Something happened. They either had a tornado, destroy their home, or this one had to leave and that one had to leave. And I was like, what am I going to do now? Now I have my technical resources, but I didn't have that support, like my VAs and things that I needed. And I could have quit then, but I said no. And then what did the universe? God served me the best possible people on my team when I needed it. So sometimes you have to understand that there'll be challenges and you'll have to let go of some things, because at the end of the day, everybody can't go with you. And so I learned something from that. So it's been challenges. Yeah, a lot of them.
A lot of challenges, and that's what it's like. Real business, real progress will take challenges. We'll have those moments. So that's it. You get a lot of learnings in those times, I find, depending on the infrastructure. It's like when I first started, teaching, you rely on your PowerPoint slides. Like, what if they, you're so stressed, what if something goes wrong? And then you get to the next level up and you go, I might or I might not use my slides, right? Or that reliance on specific people because they'll do something in a specific way. That's right. Everybody is replaceable. Everything is replaceable when you actually believe at the next level and go, if it's meant to be, if I'm in the right place, it's good enough. Right. And that's a huge learning, because they have a lot of power over you, right? All of those anchors, those, and which we would call at the time support systems. But it's interesting when you go through these, valleys, these experiences. It's amazing how you suddenly go, wow, what I thought was my absolute lifeline actually can be reworked, and then it takes you to that next place. But it's not easy. It's not easy. Those listening in, if you've had those moments where you just go, they ripped me off, they took my IP, they let me down, they lost all of my files, and it does, it's tail spinning, right? But try and what did you say before? It's like, well, I rise above. It's too bad. This vision, this purpose for me is bigger than this.
Right. Than the obstacles, because you're going to have them. But I think that has to do with, the universe testing to see if they could trust you. Can I trust you, Zondra, that even when things are not going well, that you'll stick to the vision. And so I think you have to have a good vision, and you got to have that stick to itness just to go through. It gets hard. I get tired. I mean, I'm a normal person, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change a thing. I mean, even like the channel going out of business, everything that's happened, I wouldn't change a thing, because out of that, it really elevated my ability to learn and to really lean in and go like, what I need to do, and then execute. So, yeah.
Brilliant. So where do you go from where you are, Miss TV Queen? Is there
retirement?
I don't think so. Maybe the world of magazines, the way a TV host, like morning show. I don't know what, we've always got greater visions, greater possibilities. Is it that you get to a stage and you go, there has to be more? Or do you actually just sit on what you have and go, I just want to make it as great as it can be? How does that work for you?
I never had this vision to be a network and have over, by the end of this year, we'll have over 25 different shows and 25 different producers that are producing content on a regular basis. When I think about where I want to be, I just live in a space of just being already. I be where I am, because every day is valuable. Every day is a new lesson. But if I think about where I really 5-7 years from now, what I would like to do is have a major network that is operating with, a ton of staff to manage everything, and that I'm sitting at the boardroom table and only getting updates. I don't need to be the one sitting up here going like, okay, now we have to do this. And, I don't want to bark all the orders. I want to sit at the boardroom table and get an update, and then give the deuces and go and have me a great time with my grandchildren. I mean, this is legacy work for me. So what I'm doing is establishing so that I can spend, my latter days with my grandchildren and my children, and know that my company is being ran, and it's being ran effectively. And I just drop in for a board meeting or two. Y'all tell me what's going on and keep it moving.
I love that. And I think that's just such a perfect career goal, because that's what we're trying to do, isn't it? We're not just wanting to work all the time. We're wanting to work so that we can live, right? And you want to then get that balance and spark those things that you deeply value. Yes, you value your company, but you also family and also time and your own self and your health and travel and all these aspects that I suppose as coaches, we know that it's actually trying to find that is your sweet spot ultimately, right? So we have a couple of sweet spots. We have a sweet spot in the business of being in our purpose and shining in our circumstance for who we are and what we do. And then we have this other sweet spot that just says, this is where it all works for me. And we've all got different balance, right? And it changes. Yours would have changed so much. I'm imagining at stages you'd be a total workaholic, right? To make all of this happen.
And still a workaholic. And look, I'm still a holic. I still am. I mean, the business requires strategic attention. It's a different attention than what I had maybe 4 years ago. Today, it is strategic attention. So let me give you this example to kind of clarify that. Today, I'm more concerned about the evolution of the Zondra TV infrastructure so that I can prepare my producers to become executive producers and to own their own channel that's powered by Zondra TV Network. I wouldn't have been thinking of that 4 years ago, but now that's the kind of thought. So I'm still working my business more strategically, though, to elevate my game so that I can now provide the same experience for the producers to go to executive producers so that they can start getting producers under them. But all of that will be powered by Zondra TV Network.
I love it. What a beautiful formula. Great for you, but great for them too. They want to have you always, whoever you are, whatever role you're having, all of those people also want to be, striving for their greatness and their opportunity to be able to do things their way and to grow. So tell us a little bit about how you also give back. I know you're an ambassador and you're on some boards. How do you give back? You're a woman who's been blessed greatly. How do you bless others?
Well, there's a couple of things. So there's a couple of nonprofits that I truly support. I'll just name one of them tonight, but Roaring Lambs Ministry. I support Roaring Lambs Ministry because they help people to tell their story. And so that's important to me because it takes courage to tell your story. But everything that is on Zondra TV Network is helping people to tell their story more genuinely and authentically. And so that's something that Roaring Lambs does. And so they have a radio show that's syndicated and they do a workshop. And so I try to, support their initiatives. I'm really close with the executive director. And so we even do planning together. So I give my time for that because I think it's really important. If I look at, let's call Smart Chill. Smart Chill is millennials that are creating business opportunities within the millennial realm. So they're teaching millennials how to be in business and how to function in business. And they're really African descent. I mean, they're from Africa, but I am on the board of directors there because I believe in Smart Chill and that they are doing this for their community. And community is important, that you're really reinvesting into your community. So those are just two examples, but I got a plethora. I'm the brand ambassador for Dallas Professional Women because I believe that it is my job to teach women. You must have a digital footprint and you got to get on it. And if nobody believes in you other than you, take that and take it to the bank and deposit it. And guess what? It shouldn't bounce because you believe it.
Yeah, 100%. Oh my gosh, you're such a gift. Why do you think women have this default of, I don't believe in my abilities. I don't believe that I'm enough. I don't believe it'll actually happen. Why is that more significant to women than men, in your view?
I'm going to make this a little fun because at the end of the day, women don't dress for men. Women dress for other women. So what does that really mean? That means that we are always trying to measure up against each other.
Yeah.
I'm doing this to fit. I'm doing this to get that approval. We're always trying to get that fit and approval, and it's really not necessary. And I guess that's why I don't believe in versions of you. You know, people are using that terminology right now. You know, be the best version of you. What does that mean? Is it version 2.0 or 3.0? And which one am I pulling off the shelf today? Because, you know, it seems like it might not be authentic. So for me, I'm not into versions. I don't want the version 2.0. I just want, or I encourage women to just be who you are and serve the universe, the genuine, authentic you, because there's something about that connection that can't be broken. There's something about that can't be, watered down, that I'm less than. I am who God made me to be. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Therefore, what? Just be you, not a version of you. Just be you.
I love that description. I was thinking, gee, if I was only 2.1, I'm hoping I'm not waiting for an upgrade that I haven't done yet.
Because you're always looking for an upgrade. Think about it. We are not happy. If I had an original iPhone, I would be looking at that joker like, what? I'm looking for the upgrade, right? Because there's versions to this. I don't want to, I just want to be Zondra.
Yeah.
And that no one actually requires you to be anything other than who you are, but you have to be secure in that and just know that you are genuinely and authentically a wonderful person that's been made by God.
Yeah.
Why not show up and serve the world?
I hope our listeners are hearing this deep, deep down into their whole core, right? I've got a very strong belief everyone is born on this planet for a purpose, to be them, not to be anyone else. And it's amazing that those people who think they have to be something for someone else or compared to someone else, no one is asking that of you, and if they are, who are they? They should be focusing on themselves. It's like, it sounds so easy. And I know it is hard. It is hard when you get stuck in these mindsets of, enough, but like really, ladies, be inspired and be encouraged that's right. Rise above that and just start trying it. Be quirky, be fun, be your own zany self. People love that. People are attracted to authenticity. People are attracted to people who have their own views, their own opinions, even if you don't agree with them. At least they're consistent. At least they're passionate about it, right? And that's okay. I think what you said before too in business, and I've learned that when you do things despite, I think you've gone to that next level. And I'd encourage the listeners to think about that too. You can see that, Zondra's had those journeys, and I know those of you who have been coached by me do too, that you've been in these situations that you then have to rise above and back yourself. You have to, there's a choice. I either get to accept the negatives, accept the criticism, accept all of my, fears and all of that, or I get to push on. And we'll call it lean in, right? Or fire up sometimes. Sometimes you got to put the foot on the turbocharge because it's a bit scary. So you better do it quick, right? But when you do that, you realize that you just go to this next level of, that's right. I didn't need to worry about all those other things. Those other things will come and go and they have no value, right? So I think you've demonstrated that so well. And we're both into that world of women collaborating globally, right? There is so much value of supporting each other, helping each other, not comparing yourselves. And I think you do that so beautifully. So for women who are getting mentored by you now, what do you tell them a successful woman is? They'll look at you and go, wow, compared to Zondra, what could I do that would be successful? How do you coach them? What do you say to them that success is?
There's a couple of things to me that just, speaks to success. And I know that people use integrity a lot, but I use integrity quite differently. I think that women should do what they say they're going to do, not some of the time, but all the time. I think that in order to be successful, that you have to have a plan. Like you can't fly by the seat of your pants. You got to have a strategic plan. And then I think that we remove some of the emotion out of it. Like it's, just try to remove as much emotion out of it as possible and have a set of core values that you believe in and that you stand by. And I don't mean, people like to call out some values, right? But I'm talking about when you can describe how they look because you're walking it out every day. This is what it looks like. I mean, this is Zondra every day. I didn't just get dressed up for this. I dress up every day because while I'm on this screen talking to somebody, I dress up. This is who I am. I don't fit the mold of somebody else. And then the last thing is everybody's not going to be a lover of you. And I'm okay with that. And so we have to become okay that we're not going to win them all. And that's okay. Nobody wins them all. If I was to take somebody even like Oprah, there's Oprah lovers and some probably that don't really care either. Whatever, it just is, right? You're not going to win them all. I don't care how much you have going on in your life, but when you can really just serve up good integrity, do what you say you're going to do. Not some of the time, but every time, and operate in your core values, but they should be visible in your walk every day, not just, I believe in being honest and transparent. And I go, what does that mean? Show me how that looks in your life.
Exactly.
How does it look?
How would your friends describe you? Is always a question, because that's the whole mirror. That's the mirror, isn't it? If this takes
that is the mirror
on the wall, go, I want to believe in that. I believe in that.
Yes.
And then you'll ask the friends and they'll go, well, this is who I see, Wow.
It might not line up.
So how do people find you? How do they connect with you, Zondra? Do they do it in different ways for different purposes? What have you got to offer those who are listening today?
Well, you know what? It's pretty simple. I have one call to action, and that is go to BeOnZTV, BeOnZTV.com. And then you get to see a plethora of stuff about me. You could see articles that have been written on me. You can see how to enroll in a free Why Streaming Matters, right? It matters. Come to my free informationals. I'm not selling, I'm telling. And so that, that's the difference. Don't feel like you're going to get sold when you come in there. I'm just telling you why you need it, right?
Yeah.
And so knowledge is, a lot of people say knowledge is power, but knowledge is what builds the muscle. Because it's more than power. It's building the muscle. Knowledge builds muscle mass so that you could lift more, so that you could do more. And so I really invite you to do that. But go to BeOnZTV. You can get a free discovery call there. You do whatever you want to there. I don't, my favorite saying is, I am not selling you. I am telling you.
Yeah.
You got to get involved.
Exactly. We hate sales, but we love being able to just find information that we need, right? And definitely we love free stuff, that's for sure. So definitely I will put your contact details up on my platform, also my YouTube channel, that those people who are listening in from all around the world can go onto your website, find more information about you. And that's it. Be brave to say, I need to have a digital footprint. I do need to do that in a positive, affirming way, right? Because you can also have a negative footprint. So we want to make sure that you can be equipped with the right people, the right information to be able to go, yeah, I might be small compared to the huge power players, but we all have a voice and we all have something to share. And there are ways to do that. And for not too much money, and in a way that will equip you to then be able to monetize and to be able to grow your business so that you will have a legacy. You will have something to live off when you're older, and also to hand on to your family. And that's what we all love, right? To be able to have had something that we have developed and grown that has added value to ourselves and others. So I thank you for your time today. Thank you so much for being on my program.
Oh, thank you, Annie. God bless you.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Memoirs of Successful Women. You can find me at anniegibbins.com, where you can download my free resources, get connected on social, and check out my online magic transformation program. If you love this show, feel free to subscribe to future episodes and, of course, share it with your friends. I'll see you again soon, and until then, happy podcasting.